The two Peach State powerhouses of the FPHL clash tonight in the Dragon's Den. Can the Crustaceans keep their claws on the top spot of the Continental, or will Columbus be in cruise control at home in the battle for I-85? Good evening, Crustacean. My name is Matt T. Narad, coming at you live on YouTube and Sporfy from the Columbus Civic Center, where the in-state rivalry of the Columbus River Dragons and the Athens Rock Lobsters is reignited tonight. The spoils early season control of the Continental Division. The Piedmont-Athens Regional Pregame Show starts right here and right now. The Rock Lobsters are feeling good after taking down one division rival last week in a sweep of the Monroe Moccasins at home, but they will have to come off the bus here in Monroe and beat what is currently the hottest team in the FPHL, as Columbus has won their last 7 straight. We're going to look here at the Continental Division standings. The River Dragons could go level with a win tonight against Athens. However, they have played one more game than the Rock Lobsters. It feels very reminiscent to last season, as Columbus had a slow start last year as well before becoming one of the most dangerous teams in the FPHL. Columbus jumped off to a big lead quick last weekend in Petey, but the Ice Cats nearly erased a 3-goal deficit. The Florence team couldn't overcome the early disadvantage, and the River Dragons would end up winning 5-4. Meanwhile, Athens had another memorable overtime win against the Snakes. Philip Virgili had the unlikely one-time slapper that somehow found a way over Sean Kuhn's shoulder. Let's take a look at Garrett Rutledge's lineup in our Aikens Ford engine starters for tonight as he tries to keep Athens in the win column. The line that scored a goal in just 37 seconds last time out will get the first shift again tonight as Joe Max centers Kaysen Gallant and Philip Virgili. Daniil Glukarioff has been reunited with Garrett Milan, a partnership that was deadly last year, and you also add an FPHL Rookie of the Year candidate in Luke Croucher to that mix. Gleb Van Durken will have new line mates with Jesse Lowell on his left and Eric Neely on his right. Chris Mott will be the 10th skater. We have a Rock Lobster debut for Dustin Paralat tonight, who was acquired in a trade with the Biloxi Breakers over the week. He'll get paired with Jack Johansson, but it will be Carter Shinkarik and Joe Colatarsi who start us off. William Lavalier back in Columbus and between the pipes tonight. Our starting lineups are brought to you by Aikens Ford. If you're looking for a new pickup truck, why not deal with the biggest and best Ford dealership in the Peach State? A quick look at what I call the self-stats, or the tail of the tape. As you can see, these are two very evenly matched teams. We'll see what separates them on the ice. That does it for the Piedmont-Athens Regional Pregame Show. Piedmont, real change lives here. And the Columbus River Dragons coming on out to the ice. The River Dragons, a very, very hot team right now, but perhaps no one more hot than Ryan Hunter. He returned just on Halloween, did not start the year with Columbus. He started with a 4-goal performance versus Baton Rouge. He's on an 11-game point streak, has only played 11 games with Columbus this year, has no games without a point this season. This is a rivalry that was entertaining as all get out last season long, but of course, it did not end the way the Rock Lobsters wanted it to last season, as they fell to Columbus in the first round of the playoffs last year. It happened in Game 3 at home. Talking with the players, you hear a lot about this common theme of unfinished business. It's not just about the Rock Lobsters on the season. It's not just against the River Dragons. It's about getting back to the playoffs and going further than they did last time out. Ben Pizzamenti getting announced in the Columbus starting lineup, a rookie, a good start to his pro career, having played college hockey at Concordia in Wisconsin, had a goal last Wednesday versus Biloxi. Tyler Roy going to be in between the pipes tonight for Columbus. It's his second stint with the River Dragons. His first came back in the 2023-24 season where he went 6-0 in 7 games. His last appearance came on November 28th, 41 saves on 42 shots in the 3-1 win versus the PD Ice Cats.
And now fans are enjoying the BYU 16 Christian Broadcasting as a moment of silence tonight. Remember those who are in harm's way, those who defend our country and our livelihood every day, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice.
A moment of silence here in Columbus for first responders, I believe.
Thank you. Now remain standing with hands over hearts for the presentation of our national anthem, performed tonight by the Mary Buckner Academy Choir.
Mary Buckner Academy Choir with the national anthem tonight. The score bug is up. It is almost game time here in Columbus. The first meeting between the River Dragons and the Rock Lobsters this season. A little ceremonial puck drop right there in front of the team entrance for the River Dragons. There's some important injuries for the River Dragons right now. Some notable absences for their team, and of course, they lost a legend in Justin McDonald and Austin Doe. They didn't fully lose Austin Doe. He's behind the bench as an assistant coach this season. Also, some important injuries that we'll talk about down the stretch, including Justin Somero, who played in just the first 2 games of the season before getting hurt. Same thing with Alexander Jemayev, played just the first 2 games. Of course, Athens without a former River Dragon in Michael Greco. Little loud start to here in Columbus. Can Athens kill the noise early? Remember, they scored in less than a minute when they met the Moccasins on home ice in that overtime win Sunday afternoon at Athens Ford Arena. A meeting of the minds at center ice, and Joe Mack poking in at it. Philip Virgili brings it all the way back to Joe Colatarsi, who rides the line with a pass to Carter Shinkarik. Up the point, Philip Virgili shovels it in. Mack sends it toward the end boards. Kaysen Gallant with a little touchback on for Mack. Philip Virgili, backhand sweeper to Carter Shinkarik. He's used that batting cage move in 2 games in a row now. Shinkarik back where it came from. Back behind the net, Joe Mack looking for an option. Gets enough on it to get it to Colatarsi. Little snapshot goes into the front of Mack. And here is Kyle Moore right in front of the penalty boxes. Mack wins it back. Kyle Moore, a dangerous River Dragon. The Rock Lobsters will know about that in what he did against Athens in the playoffs last season. River Dragons regaining possession in their own half of the ice. Captain Kirk Underwood leading the rush here. Finds Colton on the near side. Dustin Paralat, his first shift as a Rock Lobster. Joetten Blacksmith almost getting on the end of that. Really clever read from Milan up ahead for Croucher, who can't continue on that route. First time we're seeing this line of Milan, Croucher, and Daniil Glukaryov. They're likely the top 3 point getters for Athens since Daniil Glukaryov rejoined. Joetten Blacksmith going hard to the net front, but was unable to trouble William Lavalier. Jack Johansson has to go get his stick back. Daniil Glukaryov trying to get Athens out of their own zone. He'll do that, but give it right back to Josh Colton, who sticks it into the far corner. Paralat to the right for Johansson. Van Durkin centering a new line himself. He gives the puck up here for one of the most dangerous River Dragons right now. Shot uncorked there by Storjahan, blocked by Athens. Johansson gloves it down, but in a dangerous position. Columbus looking dangerous here early on. That one takes a slight deflection into the near corner. Storjahan centers it. Shot from the left circle. Falls down into the end boards. Van Durkin able to get it away. Van Durkin can't find Lowell, falls back down to the Moscow Mule. Centering pass evades everybody. Nice little pinch there from Dominic Dumas, who I saw before the game, and I said, hey, defenseman, something you've ever played before? He said, no, but I'm adjusting, and right now he's made it look easy. Getting paired here with Matt Garcia, and the River Dragons ice the puck with about 3.5 minutes gone. Pardon me, 2.5 minutes. After the Columbus icing, Athens with an offensive zone draw. They'll bring out that line that started the night in Virgili, Mack, and Gallant. Mack got the scoring started in that overtime win, and Virgili ended the scoring. Gallant almost got the end of that one that was sent out in front. Philip Virgili with a shot, blocked and sent the other way. Brody Thornton with a good defensive play. Pad save from Lavalier. I think that came before the point from Hunter. Got to be careful with Ryan Hunter. Right now, everything is going in for him. Shot blasted over the bar. Columbus having the better of the offensive opportunities so far between the two teams. Gathered at the point, sent back in by Underwood. Kason Gallant scanning out in front of the ice. Can't clear his side of the ice. Milan with a touch of the puck with his stick in front of Lavalier. Banks it off the end boards. Matt Garcia, nice little pirouette to avoid a hit there from Ryan Galvin, who's the only Georgian native who will be on the ice tonight. Kyle Moore, who scored 2 goals here in Columbus when these two teams met in the playoffs last year. Not a lot of speed on that one, but came through traffic, almost caught William Lavalier out. Colton has been active here early. Kolatarsi trying to turn the tide here. Croucher protects, centers it through the crease. No one there to put the finishing touches on it. 10th forward tonight, Chris Mott, getting some action here on a shift with Glukaryov and Croucher. Colin Ratt. Carter Shinkarik with an easy interception. Stuck between 2 River Dragons. Shinkarik still gets the pass off. Glukaryov gives it away to Ratt. Stick of Kolatarsi gets stuck in between the legs of Ratt. Referees didn't see a trip. Mott off the skate of Glukaryov. Still in the early going in this one, but Athens right now looking like the team that had to bus in today. About a 3-hour trip from Athens. Puck hits the linesman here. Lowell still able to get the pass off to Neely. Lowell slow to get up, but he's back on his skates. Lowell Lays a hit there to deprive Columbus of his own entry. We'll go to our first commercial break of the night after the Columbus offsides. Only 3 shots in the game thus far, 2 to Columbus, 1 to Athens. More shots coming up, that's for sure.
As a hockey player, my health is everything to me. When I got injured,
I didn't just worry about missing games. I worried about my future in the sport I love. From the moment I met you and your team at Piedmont Athens Regional, you gave me confidence. Your expertise, your care, your support, it all reassured me from the very start. Because of you, I've been able to recover, rebuild, and get back to playing the sport I love. Can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dream alive. Thanks to Dr. Graff and Piedmont Athens Regional, I get to keep playing the game I love.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and the Rock Lobsters are celebrating with our 2nd annual Teddy Bear Toss. On December 12th, you can bring stuffed animals with you into the tank and rain them down on the ice when Athens scores its first goal of the game. All those fuzzy toys will be donated to local children's hospitals and charities. Get your tickets today for the December 12th game against the PD Ice Cats at rocklobstershockey.com today. River Dragons with an initial face-off win right in front of Athens bench. Paralat, nice little step up there for the man who's playing his first game in Rock Lobsters colors. Van Durken helping out Lowell there, takes it into the zone. Around the net is Kevin Saban, someone who played for both Louisiana teams in the FPHL last season. Most of his time being spent, however, with the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Johansson. Right now, clean tape-to-tape passes are evading the Rock Lobsters. Still trying to find their footing in the opening minutes of this in-state rivalry in the 2025-26 season. Paralat gliding through the neutral ice. Was unable to get that one into the River Dragons territory, and that's going to be an offside against Athens. Me and Garrett Rutledge talked about perhaps the Rock Lobsters not getting the starts they've wanted to in games so far this season. Of course, that narrative was changed a lot by that first-minute goal from Joe Mack in Sunday's game. Glukarioff, good forecheck there. That puck pops up and hits Garrett Milan in the lip. Milan checking for blood with his glove. Croucher helped out by Milan. A line with 2 forwards standing at 5'7" or shorter. Dumas looking for the cut of Croucher. Instead, it finds Tyler Roy. Tyler Roy in his return to Columbus. Good stats in his career, but was looking for more play time. He's gotten it so far this year despite sharing the cage with Trevor Babin, who's been an FPHL mainstay for some years now. Athens, face-off win. Colatarsi off the boards behind the goal. Slapped out with the backhand of Milan. That one was almost awkward for Roy to deal with, but it ended up going behind the cage. Shinkarik touches that down gently for Milan, who gets stuck into the boards by Texmo. Croucher shakes it loose. Looks at the net from the left circle, passes off to his captain instead. Glukarioff gets his stick lifted, but his big body is able to get through the pressure, but Columbus has it. Back in neutral ice, Athens regroups. Shinkarik with a giveaway in his own zone. Almost gave up a high-scoring opportunity to his former teammate, Storjahan. Shinkarik and Lavalier both returning to their old stomping grounds. Lavalier stops it where the trap would be. Coast-to-coast pass. Icing waved off. Gallant beats it. No touch there from the River Dragons. Will they live to rue it here? Instead, there is a 3-on-1 developing the other way. Ryan Hunter, that one pops up back behind the net. Lavalier with the initial stop. What an important save that one was, as Hunter had River Dragons to pass to, but he's the hot hand right now. Opted for the shot. Another one potentially coming for Columbus, but now Athens takes it the other way through Neely. Neely with a burst of speed in his skates goes and looks for the wraparound, can't direct it toward the crease. More Banker off the River Dragons bench toward Hunter, who's edged off the puck by Dumas. Pardon me, Van Durken, who takes it through the left circle. Offside there against the River Dragons. No whistle there. Neely, great pass into Lowell. Jesse Lowell, that one's in! Moscow Mule back on the score sheet. Putting the rebound in. How about that from Gleb, Lowell, and Neely? Gleb Van Durken, who had such a fantastic start to his year, has been deprived of finding himself in the goals department for some time, but he'll be happy to see his name back up in lights as the Rock Lobsters have the game's first lead with about 9 minutes gone. Garrett Rutledge, whenever he feels like the offense starts to dry up a little bit, it seems like he's able to find gold in these new lines. Gleb Van Durken, he'll be happy about that. There's not going to be many more easy opportunities than that for the Moscow Mule. Oh, Texmo wipes out Garrett Milan. That one did not look comfortable at all. Milan shakes off the cobwebs and was looking for the pass from Croucher out in front. Oh, Carter Shinkarik dropping the gloves here. Oh, a punch and punch after punch. Oh, my goodness. Carter Shinkarik looking like a beast out there. I don't have a number 95 on my roster, but he'll go back to the locker room. Shinkarik will sit. Let's see if I can get some more information on who that was. Carter Shinkarik. We talked about standing on business, but we were talking about Jesse Lowell and his fight with Tucker Scantleberry in that Monroe game. Carter Shinkarik gets upset by something right out in front of Tyler Roy's net. What a fight from Captain Fantastic, who looked more like Captain Fearsome and Fearless out there. Looks like it's Joel Texmo, one half of the Texmo brothers. Right now trying to figure out the penalties here, but Joel Texmo getting the rougher end of that fight there. Rock Lobsters with technically 2 wins so far in this one. One comes in the drop gloves by Carter Shinkarik against Texmo, but they're also up on top in the goals department 1-0 after Gleb Van Durken opened up the scoring. And I wonder if that had anything to do with that hit that we saw on Garrett Milan. He got sandwiched bad in between 2 River Dragons. You don't see too many fights from Carter Shinkarik, but when you do, he shows, I think, really just how strong of a skater he is in his fighting style. He's able to use those strong legs to be able to find his balance and send shots in while staying strong on his feet. Looks like it's going to be fighting majors for both Shinkarik and Joel Texmo. Raylan Robertson asking in the chat about Michael Greco's status. Yeah, he still's on the IR. Pardon me. Garrett Rutledge thinks that he could be involved in the series next weekend against the PD Ice Cats. We'll see if that's the case. That was something that Garrett Rutledge talked to us about in the Coach's Corner. You can watch that during the first intermission. And we've got a new setup for our Coach's Corner that will also tell you the stats and how much longer we'll have until the second period. We hope you like it. Hard work there from Steven Self and Steven Turner. We hope you guys enjoy it. And a big thank you to Steven Self and Steven Turner for everything that they do for this broadcast. Carter Shinkarik has not been a stranger to getting involved physically here in his own stomping grounds. Milan, beautiful little move, went backhand, forehand, a shot that had to be saved by Roy. As the pressure came from the forwards of the Rock Lobsters, here come the River Dragons now. Going south to north, but Columbus having to be careful here. Daniil Glukaryov, he is on the longest point streak of any Rock Lobster right now. 7 games, 11 points in that time. It was started by a 5-goal night against Monroe. Skipping stone from Matt Garcia. Croucher can't get to it behind the net, but it falls to Milan in the corner. Splits everybody with a pass. Garcia. Glukaryov in the bumper looking for a tip from Milan. Spills out into the corner. Johansson with a nice little pinch there. Roy doesn't know where it is. Milan pokes in at it. Can't direct it towards the net. Rock Lobsters finding their footing after a slow 5 minutes to start the game. They now lead in shots 6-3. Mack wipes out, still almost finds a pass to Virgili, who gets tied up in behind with Underwood, the Columbus captain. Real edge of your seat stuff here in the opening half of this first period. And it's looked like a rivalry thus far, folks. Dumas with a nice little move on Barrow. Gallant, slight stiff arm, gets checked in the back. Paralat overskates it. Dominic Dumas not used to playing defenseman. He's in a 2-on-1. Great defensive stick there from Dumas. Got just enough of a piece to deprive Storjahan of a clean shooting opportunity. Gallant brought down to his knees. Mack behind him to help sweep up. Paralat loses it on the handle, but pokes it back to the near boards. Finds himself on the end of it again. Gives it up to Hunter. Hunter needing to be careful there. Almost accidentally put a shot on his own goaltender. Van Durken into the corner. This line has already combined thus far. Neely can't find Lowell with a centering cut. Johansson. Puck out of vision here as it's stuck to the near side boards. Now it's the River Dragons who've been a little bit more sloppy in their own zone. Galvin. Lavalier sends it away. Kyle Moore, knowing that Lavalier was off his line, tried to send a quick shot from the half wall. Right now the River Dragons just trying to send quick passes into the most dangerous part of the ice. Eric Neely, a smart move of a veteran and a laser of a shot that misses by a margin. Would have been an absolute beauty as Neely picked the pocket and almost cashed the check. Croucher feeding Milan. Pad save Roy. Garcia can't keep it in, can't keep the pressure up, but it might stay up as the Rock Lobsters will have the icing on their side, but it is media timeout time here at the Columbus Civic Center. Carter Shinkarik drops the glove, stands on business, And so did Gleb Van Durken. He opened the scoring, and the Athens Rock Lobsters lead 1-0.
Rock Lobster fans, this is Brad Akins. Akins Ford has led the way for years and keeps on growing. From offering the Southeast's largest inventory to being #1 in the nation in Ford truck sales, we're here to serve you. Want to customize your ride? Our Wild Willie's accessories team can make it as unique as you are. Make it legendary. Need service? Our fleet of over a dozen mobile service vans come right to you. Akins Ford and Winder. We really are closer and bigger than you think. Rock Lobsters, let's go.
Big shout out to all of Crustacean Nation who is watching tonight in the Terrapin Tap Room. Of course, I've got a good seat here in the Columbus Civic Center tonight, but I would love to be able to join the fans who are able to get a cold one and watch the game. Must feel like a home crowd environment there. Paralat, his pass getting cut off by Pizameni. Kyle Moore can't beat Paralat. Cole Tarsi getting paired with Paralat after the fight by Carter Shinkarik. Glukarioff, that one gets lost in the mix, but a great play make there from Milan. Croucher bats it down. Glukarioff, left circle. Backhand, back onto the forehand around the inboards. Croucher gets muscled off of it. Garcia, one-time slapper! That one somehow stays out. It came so hard off the end boards and almost bounced beneficially for Croucher. Don't think Roy knew much about where that puck was, but instinctively just kind of shifts on the goal line and is able to keep it out. Garcia, nice little hit, but it falls favorably for Blacksmith. Glove save, Lavalier. A stop there from the Great Wall of Montreal. It's only shot on goal number 5 from the River Dragons in this game. Athens with twice that. $7:35 puck drop tonight, but it will move to 7:05 tomorrow night. If I recall, that's just how puck drops go here on Fridays and Saturdays in Columbus. Mack almost piggybacking there on Tyler Barrow. Rock Lobsters haven't made anything easy for Columbus so far in this game. Right now they've been using their weight a lot more efficiently than Columbus, as Underwood's unable to complete the hit on Virgili. Virgili has his body, I think, over the biscuit. Gallant there to try and help the Swede dig it out. Kolatarsi feeds Mack. Almost finds the inside of the post against Roy. Instead, it hits the side netting. Barrow sends one diagonally. Can't find a teammate. Kolatarsi splits the ice up to Mack, who drops it for Gallant. Misses the net. Joe Mack up ahead for Neely, who can't cast a spell on it. William Lavalier will quickly recycle. No whistle there from the referees. Johansson had to get there in time. Rock Lobsters already shorthanded in the D department. And also Carter Shinkarik in the penalty box for his fight against Joel Texmo. And what a scrap it was. We got an icing here Less than 5 to go, so we go back to the commercial timeout. Stay tuned here for this game between the Rock Lobsters and the River Dragons. It's looking like a rivalry out there.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds. Endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
Rock Lobsters with an early lead, and since then the best opportunity had come through Joetten Blacksmith, a shot that was a glove save for William Lavalier. Jesse Lowell wins the faceoff here, developing more and more into a two-way player. He was our most recent Lobster Tales segment. We'll hear from him in the second intermission. William Lavalier with a toe poke into the glass. Forecheck, some bodies on bodies. Chance for Columbus. Pops up in on Kyle Moore. Near side pinch, back to the point for Galvin. Hits Dumas out in front. Just about icing against Athens. It's about as close as it gets. Carter Shinkarik is back in play after serving his 5-minute major. Don't believe we've seen Joel Texmo, though, after he was sent to the locker room after that fight. Not for disciplinary reasons, must be for injury reasons. Wonder how Shinks' knuckles feel. Colton with a snapper out of the draw. Lavalier saw it late. Luckily, he didn't have a save to make. Three physical forwards here, a line of Mott, Lowell, and Neely. Shot from distance, catches Lavalier up high. Jesse Lowell, great defensive play in his own end. Carter Shinkarik trying to use his hand for different reasons now. Sets up Luke Croucher on a one-time slapper. Saved by Roy. .240 to go in the first period. Glenn Van Durken's goal right now separating these two teams. Shinkarik, Banker, Croucher steps in. Has Glukarioff on the other side, tries to wrist a shot himself in the right circle. Great passing play from Columbus, but Glukarioff mitigates the give and go. Shinkarik, Milan. Paralat settles it. Looking for his first goal in his first game. Milan with a shot, short side. Milan. Super Milan is back here in Columbus. And he makes it 2-0 for Athens. And right now, it's probably 2 goals that Tyler Roy would want back and have second bites of the cherry to try and save. 2 goals on the rebound, one for Van Durken and one for Milan. Two guys who have been trying to get back in the goals department. Athens leads 2-0, but we'll see if this goal stands because right now there's some heavy conversation happening right in front of the penalty boxes. All indications on the ice was good goal. Shinkarik and Kyle Moore, who know each other quite well. One of the referees in conversation with the off-ice official. The goal will stand. 2-0 lead here for Athens. And a penalty on Gallant on a trip right after the face-off as he brings down Hunter. So right after Athens doubles their lead, they will have to go to the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill for the first time today. Strong, skilled, strategic defense. That's what Leslie Jones will give you. And Athens will need some of that here to keep Columbus out. They have the third best power play in the FPHL. Rock Lobsters with the fourth best penalty kill. Officials not happy with that draw. We'll do it again. How about this? Milan from Paralat and from Croucher. Paralat with a point in his first period as an Athens player. Shove in on the short side, attempt there from Moore, and Athens will clear out. Minute 40 left. And now a minute 40 left in Columbus's power play. Nice little toe drag there from Moore. Missed on the far side. Joe Mack on the shorthand. He scored a shorthanded goal for the Rock Lobsters a couple weeks ago in Monroe. Milan can only find Moore. Storjahan near side. Pops up there on Barrow. High slot shot. Batted back at by Moore. Minute remaining. Another high slot shot. Gloved by Lavalier like a shortstop. Athens with maybe some sloppy play in the first 5 minutes of the game, but since then it's felt all Athens. Even right now they're handling their first penalty kill of the day pretty well, but still about a minute left on that. Milan draws it back. Croucher. Awkward bounce off the corner there. Paralat makes a step up. Sends that one on a trip into Columbus's zone. Milan chasing down the native Canadian Joetten Blacksmith out of Waswanipi, Quebec. Oh, a nice little turnover created by Lowell. Trying to transition defense into offense. He can't complete the breakaway that he created with his own hard work. Is there one last shot in this period for the River Dragons with a man up? Awkward poke check there on Colin Ratt. Bounced back off of his body back towards Lavalier. Carter Shinkarik was down to his haunches there, but looks like he's okay to continue. Right now, it seems like the best opportunity for either team on this Columbus power play was that Jesse Lowell chance as the rookie forced the turnover. Mack wins the draw. Shinkarik sends it long, and that will likely do it for the first period. Well, one thing about last weekend against Monroe was it was definitely an exciting one, as it felt like another chapter in the rivalry between Athens and Monroe. Well, we have another case of that this weekend in Columbus. That was a point of our conversation between me and Garrett Rutledge. As always, during the first intermission, we have our Coach's Corner segment. How's it going, Crustacean Nation? Welcome back to Coach's Corner on the Athens Rock Lobster Network, your inside look at everything happening on and off the ice. And at the time of recording, the Rock Lobsters are coming off 2 more memorable victories against the Monroe Moccasins, but the attention turns from one rivalry to another. That's the top spot in the FPHL's Continental Division is at stake with a road series against in-state foe, the Columbus River Dragons. I'm Matt Rad, and I'm joined by head coach Garrett Rutledge. Coach Rutz, we'll talk Monroe before we get to Columbus. After a weekend in Louisiana where it seemed like the snake pit slowed the team and the puck down with the ice that they have there, the team was noticeably back to its fast-paced self on home ice. Was it as simple as the ice quality, or was it a combination of that along with being back on home ice against a heated enemy?
Yeah, I think it's just the combination of everything, being in your own bed, coming to our rink and having the energy that our fans bring every single game here at the Aikens Ford Center. I think, again, the boys wanted to get back on the track of winning. Good teams don't get into losing streaks, I guess, if you call losing streak 2 games. So we're just focused on practice there. We took a couple days off. Guys got treatment and stuff, and then we got back on the ice and had a good short week of practices, and away we went. It was kind of a little bit of off time with Thanksgiving and that kind of stuff, but it's good to get away from the rink and just unplug and kind of mentally reset.
Well, the good guys won game 1, and much like the win from Monroe the game before in the Monroe Civic Center, it felt like the killing blow came in the first period. The game was won in the first 20 minutes. It was Monroe who scored first in the game through Scantlebury. Was that early Monroe goal a punch that got the team's adrenaline going and fueled how well the rest of that first period went?
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know what the issue is starting the games. So it's one of the things we've been talking about a little bit here, just to make sure we're dialed in and ready to roll here, whether it's maybe a long intro. I don't know, to be honest with you, but the guys seem to respond well to it. It never felt like we were ever down, to be honest with you. So it's good for the guys to come back. And obviously when you're scoring goals and rolling, it gets everybody into the game and everybody's excited and having fun. So, and everybody feels like they're contributed. I thought Saturday night there, I thought everybody had a hand in the game at some point to help us get the victory.
Case Gallant had 2 goals in that first period, and he's been back with Philip Virgili this past weekend, who we'll also talk about later. If I recall correctly, you had told me that they had discussed with you when Case first came back that they wanted to play together, but it felt like it just didn't really click the way that it used to in the first couple games. They're back on the same line again, and we're seeing that chemistry start to flow again. What do you think it took for them to get back there?
Yeah, it's just one of those things, putting them back together. They have this chemistry together, whether it is what it is. It's unexplainable, to be honest. They like playing with each other. They love each other. So it's good to see out there. Also, a guy like Joe Mack complements them. They're good defensively in our zone. They start with the puck, and they win a lot of faceoffs. So you add in Galley that can put the puck in the end, and he gets hot. He can score a lot of goals quick. So it's good to see Macker out there winning faceoffs, and they're starting with the puck all the time. So that's one of the other things that's big too. Again, clean breakouts coming up the ice, a whole bunch of attributes in scoring goals and how we're going to play here in Athens. So again, I thought Macker was a good guy to put on their line. A big 6'3", 6'4" guy, wins faceoffs, good structurally sound, good first pass. And obviously when you have that as a winger, you can maybe get 1 or 2, 3, 4 feet, kind of not a little cheating, but you can take off a little bit more, knowing that you have those guys that are underneath you as layers can get the puck up to you and score some goals.
And Phil scored a goal in that second period. He plants himself in front of the crease, redirects a shank shot that made it 4-1. Was curious if screening and tipping shots was something that you highlighted that you wanted to see more from the group as a whole.
Yeah, I think sometimes when we get a little lethargic in the ozone and you see us not scoring and stuff, we tend to get on the perimeters and not get into the interior to try to score goals. Again, I've learned early on, and I've heard guys that's played a lot of games in the National Hockey League. Chris Draper was one of the guys that when I was in the Saginaw area coaching a AAA team for one of my good buddies, he was sitting there and he literally said to the kids, he's like, where are goals scored? And all the kids were like, at the net. They're not scored in the corner. They're not scored at the blue line. If you want to score goals, hang around the net. At the end of the day, hang around the net. They're going to score. And obviously he made a pretty good career out of it through the Detroit Red Wings and stuff. So it's, it's been mentioned. I think in this league, you can go low, high. You could swing it east-west to the defenseman. And if you get traffic, goalies can't see it. It's generally in the net. So it's been a focal point of ours. I feel like it puts you in a good spot all the time. And again, those loose pucks and it's winning habits. If you're going to hang around the net, you get in these tight hockey games, you're going to have to find a way to get a greasy goal and a way to contribute offensively somehow, some way when it's tight.
Someone who I feel like is getting in more of those spots is Jesse Lowell. He had what I believe is his best game as a Rock Lobster. He's putting the pieces together. He's adopting more of a shoot first mentality and it's paying off. But, this is the same guy that I remember hearing in the hotel lobby after game 1 in Indiana, where, he's saying, it's going to take some getting used to getting used to the fighting part of the game because it's not tolerated in the college game. And yet he looked like a seasoned brawler in his fight. He goes on to score a goal. Can you talk about the steps that Jess has made, especially when it comes to the grit that he's at?
I think it just comes down to loving the game of hockey, putting the work in and allowing yourself every single day to get better. So he comes in, he's got a good smile on his face. He comes prepared and he wants to get better. He wants the Athens Rock Lobsters to win. They're all a cohesive unit, the whole group, but Jesse's for sure, as a rookie in here, a leader by example of how to carry yourself as a pro daily. And every day he's working in net front tips and he's starting to hear the messages and through video and teaching and kind of maybe watching some of the older guys play in this league. And even when you watch other teams play, if you're picking up video or highlights and stuff, you start realizing, hey, there was another net front. Hey, there was another net front. Hey, there's another screen. Hey, there's another screen. So you start watching both teams play, every team, and how goals are going in, how they're being scored. That's a sign of a smart player, right? So again, we do a lot of video, and always the thing is like, generally speaking, when we're doing video, whether it be NHL clips, East Coast, whatever we happen to be using, it just always there's a guy net front or he's a screen, the eyes, like crossing a guy's eyesight and just making him re-pick it up. So there's all those skills within the skills. And again, being a good net front is a skill. So being able to be big in front of the goalie, and then when the shot comes, you kind of just turn and let it go by you. And again, you want to spin to your forehand and bat those loose pucks in. Like, you don't want to get too close to the net because rebounds will bounce past you. So it's definitely a full skill. And again, it takes the willingness to go to the net front. And I think Jesse's got the willingness to just about do anything on this hockey team, maybe even play net at some point. So who knows?
Well, without getting too much into it, the game came with its fair share of distractions. Was there anything that you felt that you had to do or say, especially during that second intermission, to reel your guys back in and focus on the task at hand, or were they just kind of foaming at the mouth to get back going in the third?
No, I think it's a product of how we're going to play. Like, if we're going to come at you every single game here in Athens, and we're going to play fast. And if you want to play heavy, we can play heavy too. We got some pieces that can be a stick up for ourselves. We're going to have some pieces added to this roster that's going to be absolutely huge for our group. And if you want to play like that, put your seatbelt on. So however you want to play, the Athens Rock Lobsters will play, and we'll probably dictate that for you. With that being said, there's not much to say really. Like, again, like, I'll let the rivalry, and I wouldn't even say it's a rivalry. I just think it's a product of two good teams playing each other, to be honest with you. And we play each other a lot and a lot in a short period of time. So of course tempers are going to boil over. So as the league should know, like, when you start playing guys 6, 7, 8 times in a row, there's going to be a little bit of I don't know, out to get you kind of hockey. So it's good. It's fun for the fans. I thought it was pretty loud in there, and it is what it is.
We'll move on to game 2, which was extremely competitive and nearly distraction-free. What stood out to me was that despite having a couple of Saturdays that I'm sure he'd like to have back, Carter McPhail hasn't seemed to lose that swagger at all. And how have you either kept him or maybe returned him back to that track?
listen, Carter McPhail is the least of anybody's worries around here. Like, literally, he comes over to the bench and TV timeouts there, and we're tied or whatever. Monroe's peppering us a bit or a little bit of an ozone. And he's like, how much fun are we having right now, guys? Like, look at this. This is great, isn't it? Like, this is the best time ever. Like, where else would you want to be? And it's just, that's his personality. He wears it on his sleeve. He water on a duck's back kind of thing. It's like he probably don't even remember last week, right? Sometimes the pucks hit you, sometimes they don't. So he gives us a chance to win night in, night out. Some nights it's not going to go his way, and we need to bail him out as a hockey team a few times and score some goals to get us back in the game. So with that being said, generally speaking, him and Lavi bail us out more than we bail them out. So it's been great to see, but also, like, that's why they play net. That's why we got them. That's why I have McPhail here, and that's why Lavi's here. It's like, every once in a while, we're going to need a save, and they seem to always give it to us when we need it. So things are going to break down every once in a while, and it's part of the job. You're going to have to get a save. So it's great to see them. They're a great tandem, the great duo, to see them interact with each other. Like, you can see them after wins and stuff. They're the first two that go see each other, and they got their little jump up and down on the ice, which is pretty funny. But it's a pleasure, and it's great to have as a coach for having both of them. So, but again, credit to their games. Again, they put work in all week. They know their craft. They know what they're good at, and they know what works, so they stick to it. And hopefully it becomes successful and continues on.
You've highlighted a lot of my next question. It was two great goaltending performances from both McPhail and Lavalier. You bring up the post-victory hug and jump. It always makes me giggle up in the booth whenever I see it. They may be the two funniest guys on the squad. We've talked about how they are, in essence, competing with one another, friendly competition, obviously. But is there anything that you can tell us about how they support and help one another as well?
Yeah, they're definitely a support group of what they see on the ice and stuff. Like, even as a backup goalie, when they come over and stuff, they'll be talking about maybe what a guy did last game or something on a move, or maybe on a goal, what he's seen differently as a player or a coach kind of thing. So goalies have a different mentality on that. Like, goalies they know what hand everybody is on the ice. They know when they change, guys are coming off the flank and where they are on the ice. So different stuff like that they kind of get their own scouting report, I think, on each other when they're TV timeouts on, to be honest with you. I think so. It's great to have that support and those goalies talking down there. So it's awesome to see. But again, I think they go in there, they battle, they give us a chance to win every single night they're in the pipes. And again, they enjoy playing the game of hockey, and they got a big smile on their face, and they definitely are the two biggest characters on our team, I think. So, which is pretty funny.
Does it help you at all in the fact that, one night you have Lobby going, one night you have McPhail going, in the sense that they play the position in two very, very different ways? Do you think that keeps teams maybe a little bit more flat-footed when they're coming and having shooting opportunities and wondering what to do against different goaltenders?
Yeah, I think like, as a as a player against us, we're always changing our goalie, so you never get comfortable on shooting the same guy. So if you see the same starter all the time, you're having success beating him low blocker, you're going to keep shooting low blocker. So I think it's definitely good to put them both in there, because any guy we put in there is top of the league, top goalie in our league. And I think it can be one of those nights where, you got to be good to beat us every single night. So it's awesome to see, but I think the bigger picture is it'll pay dividends down the road come playoff time. Like, it's a grind on weekends and stuff. Like, you play Saturday and quick turnaround 4:00. Like, again, these guys, you start giving up, like, again, you get 30, 40, 50 shots on net. Not that we're giving that up, but it's like, it wears you out on a 56-game season after a year. So if we can limit the exhaustion, the mental side of it, you're going to see a way better tandem group come the end of the season when we need it. And I've been in this league before, and it's great to have two guys. Like, we had Mario Cavallari and Boris Babik there, which were kind of the same kind of tandem we have here. So it pays dividends to have 1A, 1B, and each guy knows that they're getting pushed in a positive way at practice. And the net's just not handed to you. You just can't get comfortable sitting there because the other guy wants the net too. So it's healthy competition. I think it's good for a goaltending position. I think it's good for our players shooting on them in practice, because we have elite goalies. So again, you want to score goals in practice, you better make it a good one. You know what I mean? So I think it benefits the whole group. So
We talked about Gallant and Virgili being back on a line together, and then you brought up Joe Mack, who is now literally at the center of that relationship. He gets on the end of a tic-tac-toe goal that's comprised of all three. When you put a line together and see a goal of that nature in their first weekend together, what does that tell you about the fit as it stands and then the fit going forward as well?
Well, it's credit to like the players in this league can make plays. It's nice to see guys scoring off the rush because those are very gifted hockey players that can make plays. So when you see that play, that's like you see their hockey skill take over, their hockey IQ, and how quick they can move the puck and how fast the Athens Rock Lobsters or other players in this league too for that much. When you make a play and your line entry and you lay it to space and then you slip it over to the weak side, that's how you kind of score goals in the National Hockey League off the rush. And it's good to see. It's fun to be part of. I think everybody likes to see those goals. I think you yourself as a play-by-play guy, like those are the dream calls that you have where each player touches it because you're so dialed in on one guy. Then you call the pass and then guy one tees in the back of the net. It's like served right up to you for a sick goal call. So
has it poked away by Virgili. Virgili in a similar situation here. Centering pass. Gallant to Mack! It takes just 37 seconds, and Joe Mack has tickled the twine.
I don't know. We do a lot of line rush stuff, though. I will say that. So finally, maybe they're putting that into their game, and you can see some more goals off the rush coming here.
Well, that was a pretty goal to call, and the next goal was kind of just like, well, all goals count. It's 7 straight games with a point for Daniil Glukaryov. Can he just do no wrong in your eyes right now? Because even his goal on Sunday, it goes in and out of the glove of Kuhn before finding the net. Is he your golden boy where he's just everything he's touching is turning to gold? Or is there something else that you're looking for from him?
Yeah, that whole line, again, that line hasn't been like wowing me like crazy, I guess, but they're finding a way to contribute every night. Again, when they get the opportunity, they're working in the O zone. They're not afraid to put a puck to the net. I think that's the biggest thing. They come through coverage. They create space for each other with the crouch or a gleb. They're always keeping their feet moving. They're always kind of circling around. So, again, it's hard in the O zone. And when they get it in that shooting area and in that home plate of the net and out to the dot and the tops of the circles kind of thing, when they get it in there, generally speaking, it's coming to the net at some point. So, again, good things happen when you throw it to the net. But I think they just when you're lucky and you have that feeling and you got a knack to score goals, that's what you're going to see on a nightly basis. And I don't think anybody really cares how they go in. I think it's just how the Rock Lobsters are going to play, which keep coming at you, keep pushing pucks to the net front, and keep rolling around and making plays in the O zone.
We go back to overtime against Monroe. It's another Classic City Classic, and Phil scores a spectacular goal that takes seeing to believe. One-time slapper in the low end of the left face-off circle. Kuhn hugs the post and still finds a way over his right shoulder. Back here in the Columbus Civic Center where the Rock Lobsters lead 2-0. It was 2 rebounded shots that Athens put back in. The first by Gleb Van Durken, helped out by Jesse Lowell. Then Garrett Milan with a putback on a shot from Dustin Paralat, who scored in his first 20 minutes as a Rock Lobster. Van Durken, Milan, 2 guys that'll be happy to get back in on the goal scoring. Had been some games since they had scored their last goal, but it's the Moscow Mule and a little bit of Milan magic that has Athens up 2-0. Let's take a look at some of the scores around the FPHL. Right now, the Binghamton Black Bears beating up on the Port Huron Prowlers in a rematch from last year's Empire Division Finals. Not sure if the Prowlers are still dealing with sickness the same way that they were last season. Twin City Thunderbirds up 4-1 against the PD Ice Cats. Not sure if PD's just entering a slump or if Twin City is starting to find their footing. Tied game in Danbury, Blue Ridge Bobcats. Danbury hat tricks over there in Connecticut. Watertown Wolves with a slight lead in the first, 1-0 against the Indiana Sentinels. Baton Rouge Zydeco up 1-0 at home against in-state rival the Monroe Moccasins. And the Topeka Scarecrows beating up 2-0 on the Biloxi Breakers. It's been a tough start to the year for the Breakers. Two goals that Columbus goaltender Tyler Roy will want back. He has been the busier goaltender of the two between him and Trevor Babin, who was brought in last year from the Motor City Rockers. Of course, the Motor City Rockers taking a hiatus this year. Will be back, as all sources tell me, for next season. Athens back at full strength after there was 3 seconds left from that penalty, and Kason Gallant seconds into the second period, and KG9 makes it 3. Right after the Columbus power play officially ends, the Red Deer Rocket tucks it in under the bar, and Athens has tripled their lead. River Dragons just looking like they're removing the crust from their eyelids in the second period. Philip Virgili. Athens not done here. Virgili to Shinkarik, centering pass off the skates of Rat. Gallant. Nice little step up there after scoring yet another goal. His 9th of the year for the man who wears number 9. Pinch from Philip Virgili on the near side. Swarmed by Dragons. Rat to the left for Wickline. Cody Wickline sharing the name of a country singer. Finding that out the other day. Out of Flower Mound, Texas. So fitting. Sabad centers it from a long way out towards Wickline. Hard off the glass here. Stopped by Sabad at the point. Wickline out in front. No one there. Croucher can't field it cleanly. Sent back in by Columbus. That's going to go down as a River Dragons icing. I thought it came before the red line, but Rock Lobsters taking a 2-0 lead into the second period. In 14 seconds, Kason Gallant makes it 3. Talk about a fast start. And the middle period has been a friendly one for Athens this season. Hearing some fans that are liking the new intermission page here on the broadcast. Another shout out to the team of Stevens, Turner, and Self who've made it happen. Shinkarik makes an interception, loses an edge, centers it to only a River Dragon. Not the first time he's almost set up Storjahan in this game, but Glukaryov able to take it. The Russian from the River Dragons. Kolatarsi puts some energy into that one. Croucher takes a spill. We call Michael Greco the Grecking ball, but Croucher looked like a wrecking ball there. Good passing all around from Athens here, in and out of the glove of Roy. Croucher takes a swat from a River Dragon behind the net. Rock Lobsters will now have a power play as Croucher goes face-to-face with Tyler Barrow. Tyler Barrow tied for second in the FPHL in points with 30. And Luke Croucher not backing down an inch as the Rock Lobsters will have their first quadruple P Paloma Park power play. The Rock Lobsters score in the next 2 minutes. Fans will unlock free churros at Paloma Park for 24 hours through the FanSaves app. So we saw a River Dragon power play end the first period, brought into the second right before Kason Gallant made it 3-0. Now Athens has a chance to impress on the man advantage here as well. Roughing the call against Barrow. Gallant knocks it to his right in front of the right circles. Croucher. Kolatarsi to the left dot. Mack. Kolatarsi fakes a shot. Croucher making an office in the right hash marks. Little toe drag shot from Croucher at the right dot. Save there. Nice little save from Kolatarsi at the point. Gallant. Athens can't keep it in, but Kolatarsi has it back. Quick passing as Athens enters via Gallant. Kolatarsi couldn't whisk that shot towards Roy. Barometer going up here for Athens, though. Croucher back to Mack, trying the tight angle shot. Misses over the cage. Some youngsters on the man advantage here for Athens. Now Milan will help run the point with Shinkarik. Sometimes you get awkward bounces off the walls and the glass here in Columbus. Shinkarik poked in from behind. So loud here in Columbus when this game started, and now it feels like you could hear a pin drop in here. Virgili behind him, European to European. Glukaryov back for Milan. Canadian captain Shinkarik lets one loose. Eric Neely, the lone American here on this power play unit. International connection, centering pass, Milan. Columbus back with 5 skaters on the ice. The River Dragons finally have it back in the neutral area. We might have a little bit more better of an opportunity here, but Tyler Barrow gets his stick lifted at an opportune time from a Rock Lobster perspective, and it goes into the safety netting. You might have heard there from Garrett Rutledge on being excited to be back in this rink. He thinks it's one of the best in the FPHL. Of course, it's hard to beat Aikens Ford Arena, where Athens will return Thursday against the PD Ice Cats, 7:05 p.m. puck drop. Same thing for Friday night. Friday night teddy bear toss night. Jesse Lowell wipes Hunter out there, who goes hard into the boards. Hunter has it back, though, and it's a great centering pass. Couldn't tell if that was hard off the end boards or hard off the pipe there behind Lavalier. Either way, the French-Canadian was beaten, but the twine was not tickled. Mott shoved into the glass. Columbus playing a more physical game here as they try to bring some more energy into the Dragons' den. Icing against Athens. We go to our first commercial break of the second period. It was a matter of seconds for the Red Deer Rocket to find one under the bar. Rock Lobsters lead 3-0.
Since we opened in 1968, we've taken pride in our professional staff. Unparalleled customer service is our legacy. Experience the best, skilled hands and friendly faces. At Stanfield Air Systems, satisfaction is not just a guarantee, it's our tradition. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Honey, the sink is overflowing!
Okay, I'll call a plumber.
Need a plumber? Need a pro? When you need a plumber, call a pro. Plumber Pro.
Scoring-wise, it's been all Rock Lobsters thus far. Garrett Rutledge has talked constantly this season about how special teams wins you games, and right now the Rock Lobsters have the lone power play goal. Only 2 power plays in this game thus far, split between the two teams. There you can see my colleague on the other side, Liam Gottimer, a new addition to the River Dragons this season. Fans of Georgia hockey might be familiar with Liam's work for the Gladiators. Lowell centers it. That one's in! Moscow Mule has 2. Rock Lobsters have 4. Athens explosive here in the second period. And the River Dragon fans here at Columbus Civic Center have been shell-shocked. Rock Lobsters looking much more like the team that started this season. Only 2 losses on the year for Athens, but of course the nature of those 2 losses, maybe some fans, maybe some people not knowing the team, other fans around the FPHL maybe had question marks, but every time you start to doubt the Rock Lobsters, it feels like they come out with a barn-burning performance. Of course, this game is not done by a long shot. Still more than half of this contest to go. Van Durken was due, and he has 2 goals in this one. Puck still loose. Gallant calms things down, takes it behind Lavalier's net. Roy will just get his gear over that one. Stop time with 13:34 to go in the second period. In the first period, it was right place, right time for Rock Lobsters in the first 20. Van Durken and Milan with rebounds. But in the second, it's just been 2 tremendous shots, one from Gallant and the Moscow Mule again, Van Durken, to make it 4. Shinkarik. No look pass to Glukarioff on the near side. May have even caught the Russian by surprise. Milan. Croucher able to get back in time. Beautiful move. Almost beautiful goal by Glukarioff. Croucher into Roy, who hugs the post. Milan has his goal in this game, but he's been looking for the highlight reel effort for quite some time, and he has been a whisker away from it. How many times did we see him split defenses with his stick handling last weekend against Monroe? Shinkarik, Glukarioff steps up into the right circle, backhanded hard into the crease, and taking some contact there and taking a spill was Roy. Shinkarik rides the blue line with a pass to the Russian. Kolatarsi with a hit on Kyle Moore. Glukarioff like a Russian wrestling bear there. Just sticks Galvin to the sheet. Shinkarik glides as only he can. Sometimes looks like he has rockets in his skates. Nice little stick handle move there, but Kolatarsi keeps up with it the whole way. Sabad opens things up with a hit on Glukarioff. Glukarioff looking for a little bit of revenge there. Sabad out of Budapest, Hungary. River Dragons hungry for a route back in this game. Hunter has come off of his skate, able to enter the zone. Almost a mistake there from Thornton. Awkward off of the blade of Neely's stick. Hard shot, but lacking direction from Barrow. Puck sent out of play here. And the Columbus Civic Center, of course, good history of hockey here. And really at the center of so much of it is Columbus head coach Jerome Bichard. Has spent nearly 30 years in Columbus, either as a player or a coach for the Columbus Cottonmouths and now the River Dragons. Van Durken over to Johansson. Around the end boards for Paralat, who recorded his first Rock Lobster point in the first period. Van Durken, he's on hat trick watch. Glove saved by Roy. Athens leads 4-0. 2 from Van Durken, 1 from Milan, and 1 from Gallant. Van Durken, nice little face-off win. Paralat hits Wickline right out in front of his shot. Goes all the way into the safety netting over the glass. Back into play, Athens wins the face-off, but Paralat put under pressure. He'll retrieve, but do so cleanly. Nice little move from Lowell. Protects. Down to a knee. Johansson. Taken off of him by Rat. You know, I'm not too familiar with the play of Colin Rat, but when you think Rat in the sport of hockey, you think of a certain style of play. Not sure if Colin obliges in that style. Blocker save from Lavalier. Mike Wynn asks for the biscuit on the end of his stick. Johansson pokes it ahead for Lowell. Jesse Lowell was down on the ice for a second there. Didn't see whatever collision he took. Joetten Blacksmith. Circle-to-circle pass. Toe drag shot. Somehow finds a way to stay out.
Let's go, Dragons!
William Lavalier has been the far less busy goaltender of the two between him and Roy. But when he's had a save to make, he's made it. Virgili loses a handle but finds a pass to Garcia. Wynn, 28-year-old defenseman out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Here's a man that wears 28 for Columbus, Galvin. River Dragons have had some quick, fast, centering passes, but no one to put any whipped cream on the pie. Glukarioff to a speedy Milan. Still Milan steps on the brakes. Croucher comes at a perfect time, but Roy swallows it up. Rock Lobsters just keep on going and going and going. They're like the Energizer Bunny so far here in Columbus. Can they keep that pace up as we go back to a commercial break?
When you're the leader, disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Fire it up, Randy! By being prepared for anything. Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
Farm Burger is defined by its mission, its farms, its team, and its family. In 2008, our co-founders gathered around a single idea: redefine the burger by bringing together a community of ranchers, farmers, chefs, restaurateurs, and eaters. Our promise is to strive every day and with every burger to uphold these core values to each and every one of you. We do that by holding ourselves to a higher standard. Grass-fed and grass-finished, that means our cattle are never fed grain. Our belief feeds our mission, and our mission is to feed you.
Rock Lobsters are rocking the River Dragons here in the Columbus Civic Center. 4-0 lead for Athens. Gleb Van Durken on hat trick watch. Right now, it has been all Rock Lobsters in this game, despite a slow first 5 minutes in the contest for the visitors. Can the River Dragons find a twist in this lobster tail? Up ahead for Storjahan, who's done battle with Shinkarik tonight. I'm not talking about Joel Texma, who dropped the gloves with Shinkarik and was on a brutal end of that fight against the Athens captain. Croucher down to a sprawl, can't get on the end of it. Better puck movement here from the River Dragons. And on the puck now was their captain, Kirk Underwood. Shot against his former teammate, William Lavalier. Easy enough save for the Volcano. Eight and a half minutes to go in this middle period. And that shot on goal tally that's at the top left of your screen shows, if not the scoreline itself, just how much the Rock Lobsters are at the steering wheel between these two teams right now. Mott absorbs the hit. Just wipes out Sabad there. Mott frees up space for Neely. Van Durken. Now Neely diving forward. Can't corral. Here's Neely. 2-on-1 with Mott. Mott still looking for his first goal as a Rock Lobster, and it's not going to come yet. Know how hungry Motter is for that one, and that's an opportunity he's going to want back. Sometimes the puck just doesn't bounce your way. Icing against Athens. Rock Lobsters with the 15-12 shot advantage in the first period. They lead in shots 10-4 in the second. It was much more about there being a barrage of shots in the first period and capitalizing on the second chance opportunities. In the second, it's been more about the quality of shots that we've seen, courtesy of Gallant and Van Durken. Barrow looking to try and force open a route back into this game for Columbus. He is the point leader for the River Dragons this season with 30. Johansson cuts that one out. Sends it back towards Mack. It's off his skates. Mack didn't know much about it. Hunter trying to continue his hot streak. Johansson tripped him up. River Dragons going back to the man advantage. River Dragons going back to the power play despite the chagrin of Johansson, who's frustrated with a call there. Johansson will sit for two. It's not now or never from a River Dragons perspective, but look, we talked about the importance of special teams. If it's going to come, you'd like for it to come here on this power play if you're Jerome Bichard. Colton. Barrow. Nice puck movement all around. Barrow has it fall to him, misses the net after Storjahan was blocked up. Puck rides the wall to Hunter behind the net. Swept back to Storjahan. Ryan Hunter is a high-risk play, but he makes it. Puck takes a piece of Mack. Colton back to Hunter. An absolute laser that might have hit the net if it was directed towards the net. Loose handle there from Hunter. Hunter fights off Milan and sends another high-velocity shot wide of the mark. Mack, familiar with a shorthanded goal this season. It's edged off possession by Colton. Awkward tangle there between Storjahan and Croucher. And Rock Lobsters will have another man going into the box. Columbus with an extra skater on. Paralat touches. And River Dragons will have double the advantage to try and make it a 3-goal game. Now Croucher will sit for 2, likely for interference. Don't want to get too ahead of yourself. Athens has done well on the 5-on-3 thus far this year. We've seen that against Monroe. We've seen that against Twin City. Both of those times happen to be at home, though. Maybe a bit of a higher difficulty in completing that task in Columbus. But it'll help with Joe Mack winning the faceoff, and he'll receive a stick clap from Eric Neely for his efforts. Interference to call, indeed, against Croucher. You kind of have to segment this 5-on-3 from an Athens perspective. Just get through the next 30 seconds and make it a regular 5-on-4. Is that going to happen there? Rat gets blocked by Neely. Neely gets wiped out there. It looked like a trip to me. No call there from the Zebras. Underwood. Rat lets it run. Athens keeping a firm triangle here. They'll get a skater back, and Galvin will miss high. Johansson joining the mix. Johansson stapling this puck to the boards. Intelligent move here from the blue liner that wears red. Underwood to the goal line. Johansson down to a sprawl. Underwood, high slot shot, hard into the glass. Glove down by Blacksmith. Mack will poke but won't gather. Another heavy shot that goes hard into the inboards. Underwood. Swallowed up by Lavalier. We go to a media timeout. The Rock Lobsters making so far the 5-on-3 look easy, but there's still 31 more seconds of 5-on-4 benefiting the River Dragons. Can Athens keep the River Dragons out of their own net? We'll find out.
Thank you for calling Thornton Brothers. How may we help you?
When the call comes in, our team moves fast. Because in our world, every second counts. Every delivery means protecting people, product, and places no shortcuts, no excuses. From warehouses before sunrise to late-night drop-offs when the rest of the city sleeps, we're the steady hands behind the scenes. On the arena floor, in the back hallways, and down to the locker room supplies, we help keep Athens ready, stocked, supplied, and moving. The fans feel it. The players count on it. The community depends on it. Thornton Brothers, proud sponsor of the Athens Rock Lobsters.
If you haven't gotten your Teddy Bear Toss tickets, you might want to be careful about that because I've heard there's not very many left. Most wonderful time of the year, Rock Lobster celebrating with their second annual Teddy Bear Toss. When the Rock Lobsters score their first goal of the game, fans will be able to rain them down on the ice, and all the fuzzy toys will be donated to local children's hospitals and charities. Get your tickets to the game on December 12th against the PD Ice Cats at rocklobsterhockey.com right here and right now. Not sure what the conversation is with two veteran leaders of each team, Virgili and Moore. Looks like we're staying 5-on-4 here. 31 seconds left of this River Dragon power play, which at one point was a 5-on-3. Colton shepherds it. Back to Hunter, who's been looking for the laser goal this whole power play. Storjahan has looked dangerous in this game, but the Rock Lobsters are looking the far more dangerous team here with a 2-on-1. Lowell racing to the back door, and it's through the 5-hole of Roy. Lowell stays hot, standing on business on the shorthand. Rock Lobsters cannot be stopped. Doesn't matter if it's 5-on-3, 5-on-4. Rock Lobsters on the shorthand with 11 seconds to go on this River Dragon power play. Make it 5. Milan with a perfect setup. Unselfish there from the Rock Lobsters' resident superhero. Centers it for Lowell, who goes 5-hole on Roy. And it's a perfect setup for our second intermission. Rock Lobsters go back to even strength. Jesse Lowell will be our Lobster Tales guest in the second intermission. You can also catch his interview here on the official Rock Lobster YouTube page. We appreciate you wherever you're tuning in to, whether it be the Terrapin Tap Room, YouTube, Sporfy, or if you made the trip here to Columbus. Mack to the left for Virgili. Joe Mack in the slot, loses an edge. No icing against the River Dragons. Gallant wrestled down to the edge of the rink by Wynn. Garcia and Pizzameni pushing and shoving. Van Durken, turnaround pass. Gallant bounces off the hit. Van Durken pokes it into his route. Van Durken looking for the hat trick himself. Has scored goal number 5 and 6 today. Had a hot goal-scoring start to the year. It's fallen off by some margin, but he stayed hot in the playmaking side of things. Lowell looking for another as well. Wraparound attempt from Neely. Loose stick on the near side. It's been so fun to watch Jesse Lowell grow in confidence as he's got a multi-point game in this one. Almost made it a multi-goal game. Lowell could have 3 in this one if you remember that breakaway that he created for himself earlier on. Finds Milan up ahead. Milan almost completing a stellar move against Thornton, whose stick found enough of the puck to make sure that Milan wasn't alone on the net. Rat gets a touch, but nothing more. Approaching the final minute of play in the second period. Five goals, 4 different goal scorers. It has been a team effort through and through, back to front for the Rock Lobsters tonight. Rock Lobsters following up a 2-goal first, but so far a 3-goal second. How about that? Garrett Milan points out that Barrow's footing is not right in the faceoff circle, and the official obliges and kicks Barrow out. I don't see that all the time. I believe that's what I saw. You could perhaps tell me if I'm wrong at home. Final minute of play in the second period. Turnover from the River Dragons in their own ice. Croucher centers, pops right back to him. Cola-Tarsi, oh my goodness gracious! A laser out of nowhere! Cola with the pop! And River Dragons fans must be thinking, you've got to be kidding me! Joe Cola-Tarsi with his first of the year It has been all Rock Lobsters. River Dragons looking up at the scoreboard, wondering what happened here. The silence becomes more and more deafening in the Dragons' den. But the Dragons not slayed just yet. Nice little block there from Dumas. 92 the block there on 91 Pitsameni. Looks to whip one in. Comes around the glass through the neutral zone. Lavalier will freeze with seconds left. Uh-oh. A little extra conversation after the whistle. Referees trying to whisk everyone away back to their benches. Or I guess back to the face-off circle. Very impressive with the Rock Lobsters coming on the bus today. Athens to Columbus. But their legs not looking like they really need much stretching at this point, as they take a 6-0 lead into the final period. And the man with the goal to make it 5-0 was Jesse Lowell. It's now 6-0 after the laser from Colatarsi. Lowell staying on a hot streak here as he continues to find his stuff at the pro level. He was this week's guest on Lobster Tales. You can only watch it here on the official Athens Rock Lobster YouTube page. Here is our Lobster Tales with Jesse Lowell, who stands on business, may I add. Hey there, Crustacean Nation, and welcome back to Lobster Tales on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. It's the go-to way for you fans to learn more about your favorite players. As always, I'm your host, Matt Rad, and my guest today is coming off of a memorable weekend with his first home goal in a fight in front of Crustacean Nation, an Illinois native, a former captain at the University of Arizona, and a representative of the USA at the World Cup of University Hockey. Welcome to the show, Jesse Lowell. Jess, thanks for joining me, brother.
Thanks, Matina. I appreciate it.
Look, man, I don't want to get too cerebral off the rip, but I think growth is something that so many of us want to be a linear thing, and it just isn't. You know, it's peaks and valleys, and it feels like you're on the high of one of your best peaks of the season thus far, scoring in back-to-back games, dropping the gloves for the first time in your pro career, which we'll talk about later as well. And I think the fans are kind of riding that high with you right now. I guess my simple question is, how are you feeling?
Pretty good. I think at least the focus for me each week is just to get 1% better, you know, even each and every day. I think, you know, our veteran guys try and talk about that sometimes. And I think, at least for me personally, I can get lost in the weeds a bit with trying to perfect things. I tend to try to be a bit of perfectionistic. So, yeah, for me right now, it's just, you know, riding the wave a bit. I mean, you know, it's peaks and valleys. And right now I'd say I'm, you know, climbing up, and I'm just trying to get better each day. So yeah, it feels good to get rewarded.
But we'll get back to the here and now a little bit later. Now let's go back all the way to the very beginning. You grew up in the suburbs of Chicago in Northbrook, Illinois. What did your first steps in hockey look like?
You know, from what I remember, it was just my old man taking me out to skate. You know, I mean, I got pictures of getting out there for the first time, and you know, I got an older brother, 9 years older than me, Jared, and he skated as well. He was a good hockey player. He had a nice career in Arizona and played in Europe afterwards. So I think, you know, him and my dad are just great role models. You know, I talk to them every day about hockey, about life, and they really got me into the game. So
We'll talk a little bit more about Jared later as well. But Matt Garcia is someone who's around the same age as you. He grew up less than an hour away from where you did. Was wondering if that's anything that you guys have talked about or bonded over at all.
yeah, it's actually it's funny how small the hockey world can be as well as big at the same time. Actually, I met Matt right behind where I'm sitting right now in September, and he was one of the first guys I met, and we had that Chicago introduction right away. But I'd never met him before that, so it is funny how big and small the hockey world can be.
You played for your high school team at Glenbrook North High School that produced NHLers like Mike Brown, Jacob Megna, JT Comfer. You came right in the middle of a period of success for that program, and you were a big-time producer for the Spartans. How did playing for your high school team shape you as now a pro later on?
Yeah, I think that was a big year for me as a U15. I had the option to, stay in AAA and play up with the 1999 birth year as a 2000. But that year, me and my dad kind of talked, and we were just more focused on development and also just kind of having fun. We thought it'd be a good year to go play for the high school, stay local, play a ton of games. And, it was a little bit lower level at high school, obviously, than what I was playing at AAA. And I just try to use it as, as a stepping stone. I had my brother on the bench with me as an assistant coach. So we really focused on, my development that year. And I feel like it allowed me to slow the game down, playing a little bit of a weaker level and just hone in on my skills.
Glenbrook North High School is kind of an iconic high school, and people might not know it by name, but it's famous alumnus director John Hughes. You can see the outside of the school in Ferris Bueller's Day Off and the inside in the Breakfast Club. Was that something that the student body thought was cool? Because I think it's awesome. Or is that something that maybe you and the others didn't even know?
I think people know about it. It wasn't talked about a ton, but when you drive on that road, where those scenes were taking place, it's cool. I definitely think about it, or I did think about it back when I went there. Geez, almost 10 years ago now. But
It's crazy to think about.
yeah,
You and you, as you mentioned earlier, you had your brother as an assistant coach at Glenbrook, and he's about 9 years older than you. You would end up following in his footsteps multiple times in your career by ending up playing at University of Arizona and then overseas in Europe, which also we'll talk about. But talk about how much Jared was a part of your development then, and maybe how much he's a part of that development now.
yeah. Jared was huge for me. Right when he started coaching me my sophomore year of high school. Obviously before that he was doing his own thing. That was his first year out of retirement, or his first year retired. So that was kind of the start of him, coaching me. That summer we did a lot of intro to lifting, and he'd walk me through some of the plyometrics he did to get quicker, even stuff like shooting pucks in the backyard. That's my bread and butter now. Like, he taught me what I need to do for my stick handling, what I need to do for my shooting, and I still do that stuff today out at Aiken. So that's pretty cool. And even fast forwarding now to like even last year when I was in France, me and him would sit down once a week and just go through my shifts. And he's he's just so smart with the game. He knows so much, and he just kind of break it down for me what I need to do with the puck in certain situations. And we were just really focused on how to create more offense. I think something I struggle with a bit is just holding on to the puck a little bit, letting the play develop. I think I have it in my arsenal to make those plays. I think I have decent hands and I got decent vision. So he was just helping me kind of, let things set up, be more comfortable, be more confident. And yeah, it was huge just sitting down with him each week, looking at my shifts and just trying to get better last year.
I think we know a lot of the skills that you bring because, I love to watch that, mixtape of your skills when you were at the University of Arizona, leaving Illinois, going to Tucson to be at Arizona Wildcat. You have a solid year your freshman season. You're an alternate captain your sophomore year. You're captain by the time you're a junior. You have the right profile to be a leader for years to come. Do you think you're more of a vocal leader, or were you more of a lead by example kind of guy?
I think I was both. I definitely was very vocal. I was very involved. At Arizona, that program meant so much to me. Being there for 5 years, I truly had such passion for it. I wanted the program to be successful. I wanted to win. And even more importantly, I wanted my teammates to enjoy themselves and, be successful, whether it was on the ice, off the ice, in school. I wanted everyone to, obviously graduate, take care of their schoolwork because that was important. And I just wanted them to, enjoy being on the hockey team there. So, my goal is just to do everything in my power to make sure everyone's enjoying it. And most importantly, everyone's working hard because every day I just want everyone to get better. And I think that's where leading by example came in. Practice was everything for me, just trying to be the hardest worker because, at the end of the day, if your captain's going as hard as he can, there's no reason that the other 20 guys on the ice shouldn't either.
And because of your time at Arizona, you got a very unique opportunity to represent your country a couple of years ago at the World Cup of University Hockey, and you wore the A. I've seen quotes from you on how special of an experience it was. Can you reminisce real quick about that opportunity and the moments that made it so special?
Yeah. Obviously, whenever you get to rep the red, white, and blue, it's special. It was the second time I was able to do it. Um, the greatest thing I took away from it was just, it was a all-star team of ACHA guys, and I just really wanted to learn how, the successful teams in the league ran their operations. I mean, I had Dakota Bond on my team who played for Binghamton for a couple years. He was very successful there. And then even like guys on the Canadian team, who were captains of their programs at Adrian, at Minot State. I mean, I know not too many people are familiar with the ACHA, but those teams have been powerhouses for years. So, the biggest thing for me was just talking with those guys and finding out, what is their winning culture and how could I bring that back to Arizona?
I think you definitely did that, especially with your individual play in Tucson. You end up going to play overseas to play in France with Honesty, and your brother took those steps first when he went to Sweden to play pro. What advice did he give you at the time to kind of adapt to the European game, and how do you think you adapted yourself?
Yeah. I think his advice for me is just, you got to try and be the best player on the ice every day. And I think it's a little bit different over in Europe as an import, and you could talk to, Garrett Milan, Karshan Carrick, guys who played overseas. They're expecting you essentially to score every night. That's just how it is. I think it's important to, be a hard worker, make your hits, make your plays, but at the end of the day, they want you to produce. And for me, I think I do my best when I'm working my hardest and the kind of those things come, the offense comes from my hard work. So it was definitely a lot of pressure going into it, knowing, I needed to produce every night. But that was definitely his advice. And there was a little bit of a learning curve with it. And even there's a learning curve with that here. You gotta try and produce. Sometimes working hard isn't really enough. So there's layers to it, and I'm even learning that this year.
The Classic City would end up calling, and I feel like every guy has a different story on how the job in Athens came about for them. So, how about you? How and when did you know that the Rock Lobsters was going to be the next step?
Yeah, my story is a little bit interesting. After I got back from France, you know, I feel like once your college career ends and you start tackling the pro career, you start asking questions like, how many years do I want to do this? Do I want to start finding a job, maybe settling down? You miss a lot of family events when you're playing hockey over the years. So all that came into play, and there was actually, I want to say, maybe 6 weeks where I was fully done. Kind of hung up the skates. I was working for my dad and kind of just exploring that route. And then one of my uh, one of my family friends who's kind of helping me get placed reached out, and one of the teams in the league, actually PD, called, and they were going to give me a professional tryout. So once they called, I kind of started looking around the league. I didn't know anything about the league. I had buddies who played in Carolina, Dakota Bond, who I mentioned, who played in Binghamton. So I kind of talked to those guys, talked to Roman Kramer, who's a very good player for Carolina. And um, ultimately, it just came down to where do I see myself best? Like, what's a good fit for me? Where's going to be the best experience? What kind of teams are they? Do they have good culture? And even talking to Shanks in the summer, I just knew there was something telling me that Athens was the place for me. Just the way the culture is here, it's just unbelievable. It's everything that I tried to preach at Arizona, and Shanks kind of runs an operation similar to what I would, and that meant a lot to me. And it just was honestly a no-brainer where I wanted to be.
You end up scoring in the first weekend of the season in Indiana. You got to do that in front of your family who drove in. Obviously, Illinois, Indiana, not that far of a drive. In those first few games, what did you learn more about the FPHL and what it means to play in this league?
Yeah. I just didn't really know what to expect going into Indiana. Obviously a weird rank that we all talked about. Um, and I didn't know anything about the league, so I didn't really know, who we were playing, what kind of game it was going to be. So it was a little nerve-wracking going into it, but once we got out there, at the end of the day, hockey's hockey. Been doing it for 23 years, and I just tried to remember that. And honestly, like my bread and butter is just being the hardest worker on the ice. I feel like that always shows. I mean, hard work over skill sometimes. So it was a good first weekend for me. I got a little bit comfortable playing with different guys and whatnot, playing center, playing wing. But yeah, I thought it was a good weekend overall, and I've just been trying to build from it ever since.
That kind of brings us full circle to the right here and right now. I remember that first weekend in Indiana where I heard you in the hotel lobby saying, it's weird to adjust to the fighting because, it just wasn't allowed in college. And yet this past weekend, you dropped the gloves. You look like a seasoned vet at it. It feels like, just not without, the fighting itself, you've added a gritty edge to your game as of late. But in general, can you talk about your growth through the season and what kind of path you feel that Coach Rutz is trying to put you on?
Yeah. To tackle that last part of it, I developed a good relationship with Rutz. He's a great coach. Talks to me all the time about different plays. I'm just trying to embrace it all and, listen to him, listen to the older guys like Milan, Shanks, Healy. Um, but honestly, his main thing is just like stop being so hard on yourself and have fun. I mean, it was funny. He went to my parents the first weekend, and I guess he was like, "Yeah, Jesse seems like he's real hard on himself." And my parents laughed because obviously they know me and they know how hard I am on myself. So I think from him, he's just trying to, get me to loosen up and just play my game. And that's something I've been trying to approach, whether it's not being so tense before the game, maybe not getting too focused, with music and stuff like that, and just going out there and being confident in the way I play. So that's been big, and just trying to loosen up out there, believe in myself a little bit, and it always comes back to just, being the hardest worker out there.
There was a social media post a couple weeks ago where guys were talking about what players they would let date their daughter, and I asked Coach Rutz the same question, and you were the first name that he brought up. What does that mean to you to be, such a polite guy? I think if someone were to ask me like, "Hey, who's the nicest guy on the team?" I probably would say Jesse Lowell. What do you think that says about you, your upbringing, and maybe how you approach a locker room culture as well?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I mean, in regards to my upbringing, I have an amazing family, amazing support system. My parents are unbelievable. They care so much, as you guys know. I mean, they come every weekend. Anything I need, they take care of it. As well as my brother, and my two sisters. Just everyone's so great. We got tons of nieces and nephews running around shortly here. Um, so it's been a great upbringing with the support. I always feel comfortable. They're so loving, and I think that translates well just to the locker room because the most important thing for me is just, being the best person you can be. Um, you know, Guys feel that when you're genuine, you have a smile on your face, be a good teammate. It really makes a difference. And with me coming to Athens, just on that professional tryout, I just wanted to show everyone that A, I want to be here, and B, that I can be with, the way I carry myself, coming to the rink, being happy, trying not to have that bad body language, no matter if you're on the first line or if you're on the fourth line and not playing. So that's something that's really important to me. I feel like it always just pays off in the end to just be, the kindest person you can be and just work your hardest on the ice.
I brought your name up to Coach and, some of the boys over the past week, and I keep hearing this standing on business.
Standing on business, right? That's what he's doing.
You giving Jesse Lowell Cole for Christmas? I'm going to also give Jesse Lowell Cole for Christmas because he doesn't stand on business. Yeah, 2-7 for sure is getting Cole.
Can you touch on that at all and where that's coming from?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not the best to be explaining it, but I believe Dom Dumas started that, and he's got a bunch of fun.
This broadcast is brought to you by Thornton Brothers, your one-stop source for janitorial, safety, and packaging solutions. From restroom soap and protective eyewear to butcher paper and more, Thornton Brothers, they've got you covered. Do you want to move better, feel stronger, live healthier? Join Athens Health and Fitness, personal training, results-driven programs, and a community that pushes you. Check them out at athenshealthandfitness.com today. Make your home feel brand new. Dalton Carpet One has the flooring that you've been dreaming of. Visit DaltonCarpet1.com today and step on to style. Well, the smile on the faces of the Crustaceans have gotten wider through the second period as they scored 4 against their in-state rival in the second period. Kaysen Gallant just seconds into the middle 20 with a bar-down shot. Van Durkin was able to make it 4 with his second of the night. Jesse Lowell, who we just heard from in Lobster Tales, his rise continues on the 5-hole tally. And Joe Colatarsi with his first of the year on an absolute laser into the net behind Roy. Somewhat surprised to still see Roy in this game. I think he'd like to get some of those shots in the first period back that he gave up, but it's been just high-quality shooting from the Rock Lobsters since then that finds them with a 6-0 lead. Shinkarik around for Colatarsi, who has the game's last goal as it stands. River Dragons trying to play through all 3 zones. A little extra boost there from Lucas Texmo, who spins around at the corner, trying to trouble Lavalier. That might be the name of the game for the River Dragons, is try and generate more shots whatever way you can get them in what remains of this matchup. Glove down by Johansson. Sends it coast to coast to Paralat. Paralat gets caught out. Wickline, 3-on-1, Johansson. What a defensive stick there from the Rock Lobsters, number 91. Not the first time that the River Dragons have somewhat shot themselves in their own clawed foot on 3-on-1 opportunities tonight. Joetten Blacksmith made headlines when he came into this River Dragon team last year, had 3 points in 2 games, and then was never seen again with not really any explanation for the rest of the year. River Dragons lag getting there, but get it out of their own zone before giving it up to Lowell. Van Durkin to Garcia. Whistles it around. Lowell behind Roy's net. Neely still wearing the cage after his facial injury in Binghamton. He would love to celebrate his wife's birthday today with a goal. Carter McPhail having celebrated a birthday just the other day. Will he be back in the cage tomorrow? It's been a great William Lavalier performance so far. Neely steps ahead through the pressure. Neely with Lowell on the other side goes hard to the net himself. Van Durkin tries to finish off the move. Roy puts a stop to it, puts a stop to play at 17-19. Was a little nervy at the start of this game for the Rock Lobsters, and it feels crazy to say that with the way that everything has gone since then. Looked a little flat for a matter of about 5 minutes as the puck takes a piece of somebody in the River Dragon bench. But it feels like that first goal from Van Durkin really uncorked Athens for the rest of this game, and now they just cannot be contained. Are there more goals in this one for the visitors? Shinkarik corrals, finds Kolitz-Arce. Will be happy to be off the mark on his 2025-26 season. Oh, puck pops up on Virgili, hits him in the face, and trying to get back on the back check. Just gutsy there from Virgili, as he's got to be hurting on that one. Philip Virgili, of course, with the exclamation mark on the Rock Lobsters' last game, that one-time slapper on the top side of the circle. Still have no idea how it went in. Roy with a play to make there. Through the legs of Milan. Galvin trying to galvanize this River Dragon team. Pad save from Lavalier. Does feel like William Lavalier always gets up for this fixture. Of course, a former River Dragon himself. Croucher steps through the pressure. Glukariev got on the end of it, but can only direct it into the end boards. All three Rock Lobster forwards behind the net. Paralat sends himself on a skate here to the corner. Milan shoulder down. Paralat cross-checking more there. Glukariev shovels one into the midsection of Roy. Milan being grabbed from behind in the corner. Paralat taking exception for how his new teammates treated. It's tough. You want to protect your star guy in Garrett Milan, but Rock Lobsters up big here, don't need to engage in any extracurriculars. I think the referees will be able to keep these teams civil for the final 16 minutes, but it makes you wonder how tomorrow night's going to go. Larry Wise is absolutely correct. On looking at the replay on Philip Virgili's overtime winner last weekend, Sean Kuhn goes to hug the post, but his head gets to the post last, and Virgili was able to find that small gap of a matter of just about 4 inches to end that game 3-2. Another classic City Classic overtime win for the Rock Lobsters against the Moccasins. Dumas with the pinch. Sends one long, blocked in the right circle by Columbus captain Underwood. Wickline up ahead, cut out by Johansson. Van Durkin, will he get his hat trick tonight? Clever play on the far side. Mott shakes off the check. Shinkarik, a good skater to be able to get back here and get in front of Wickline, who doesn't have a play to make. Heavy hit on Dom Dumas in the corner. Lavalier gloves it. Watched it the whole way, and he had quite a way to watch it. Under the stick there of Barrow. Gallant. And under the stick there of Mack. Storjahan. Little give and go there with Barrow. Just nothing really coming for the River Dragons. Dump and chase by Mack. Colton off the boards. 2 strikes there from Glukariev. Keeps it in the zone for Athens. Stick save from Lavalier. To the top of the glass, but not into the netting. Puck could have gone anywhere if the River Dragons met it in the high slot. Only person there is Athens' Garrett Milan. Lukarioff, Milan into the slot, just wide. Toe drag before the shot. Kolatarsi. Poke check in the corner. Lukarioff. Croucher trying to send himself on a run to get on the end of a Milan pass. Johansson grabs out of midair. Takes a check for his efforts. Johansson doing the same thing. Saw Kolatarsi score earlier on in this game. He's looking for his first goal as a Rock Lobster is Johansson, but Athens have scored the touchdown. They're still looking for the extra point here in the third period.
Hi, welcome to Chandler Jewelers. What would you like to learn today?
Looking for a new watch, something a little more fast, more precise.
Yeah, that one looks like it's seen better days. And let's get you something that can keep up.
Oh snap, I got a game to get to. Woo, plenty of time to spare.
Rock Lobsters with more than 4 goals in this game, and with that, Crustacean Nation has won the Freddy's Score with 4 free mini Sunday. For more information on how to redeem, check out Fan Saves. Having a little raffle here where the winner is getting announced here. River Dragons fans looking for something to cheer for here. It's been a quiet Columbus Civic Center. Feels like ever since Athens took maybe a 3-0 lead. It's gone from bad to worse for Columbus. Milan settles it, finds Croucher. Interesting little send from Croucher from behind the net. Roy loses his stick behind the net. Trying to see if he has any time to go and get it. He will here as Perlat has it pop on and off the blade of his stick. Johansson loses a mitt. Bouncing all around. Johansson into the net off the banker. Croucher up to Milan. Milan once again putting on a stick handling clinic. The reigning FPHL MVP, Croucher, no looker, centering pass where the trapezoid would be. Found Glukarioff. It's one of the few Rock Lobsters who hasn't scored in this game as he's falling to the ice. It's showtime in the Columbus Civic Center. 7-0. It's not quiet anymore here in Columbus. The Boo Birds are out. Luke Croucher now on a line with Garrett Milan, a player with 2 similar profiles, whether it be height or skill set, and they combine to make it 7. River Dragons still looking for their first and not giving up in that pursuit. Pardon me, actually it will be Croucher from Glukarioff and Kolatarsi. How about this night from Kola, who had 2 points on the season coming into this game. He's got 2 points tonight. Croucher with goal number 10 on the year. Believe that makes him the first Rock Lobster to 10 goals on the season. Not sure if he knew much about what happened Moore with another miss for the River Dragons. They've found it difficult to direct their shots towards Lavalier. Moore lets it run. No icing, say the officials. Wynn takes it away. Offside. Call this time around. Rock Lobsters with 7 goals here against the River Dragons. They had 3 straight games which they scored 6. So this will officially be the most goals for Athens against Columbus in either team's history. The scoreline stands. It'll be the biggest margin of victory for the Rock Lobsters against Columbus. River Dragons trying to charge up out of their own zone. It's the first time that the Rock Lobsters have scored 7 as Storjahan continues on this pursuit for the first goal for the host tonight. With about 10 minutes to go in this matchup. Rock Lobsters having scored 7 for the first time since that 7-6 overtime victory against the Moccasins. Special shout out to Kim Stewart. Happy birthday, Kim Stewart. Little message there from Dave. Wanting to wish, I believe, his wife a happy birthday. Athens still buzzing like bees around the Dragon's Den. Will there be sting number 8? Little touch ahead from Glukaryov for Milan. Nice little debut for this line tonight. Shinkarik poke check, falls for Galvin, sends it around, stopped by Johansson behind Lavalier. Seems to be a hefty understanding between Croucher and Milan. Shinkarik out in front. Lowell can't stop the puck from bouncing to get the shot off. My mistake, it was Chris Mott. Van Durken. He's been on hat-trick watch since the middle part of the second period. Van Durken, this time getting a part of the defensive side of things to stop Lucas Texmo from a shooting opportunity. Mott finds Van Durken. Feet away from his hat-trick goal. Wickline up ahead for Rat, who gets it taken away from him like cheese on a trap. Jesse Lowell drops it. Perfect placement at the line. Van Durken to Virgili. Saved by Roy. We go to another media timeout here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. Stay tuned here. Athens looking to put more on against Tyler Roy.
this thing on? Perfect.
Somehow there's still 7 minutes and 42 seconds left in this game, but the 52-plus minutes that have been played have all benefited the Rock Lobsters thus far. We already had one birthday shout-out. Here's another to Blake Patat, who is watching at the Terrapin Tap Room. How about this for a birthday gift, Blake? Rock Lobsters putting a hurtin' on the River Dragons in historic fashion as far as this rivalry goes. Virgili able to find Dumas. Garcia tries to block it like Matumbo. Tied up there with Barrow. Hand pass the call against Garcia. Virgili, Mack, and Gallant out for Athens on this faceoff. You can see why Garrett Rutledge was trying to find a spot at center for Mack because of his ability in the faceoff circle. Saucer pass, right to left. Virgili trying to protect. Mack got it free, but finds Barrow with a pass. Barrow looking for the wraparound. Takes it on a trip around the Rock Lobster side of the ice. That one will reach the netting. William Lavalier still equal to everything thus far. Todd Cheserek, I believe, is who is in the chat asking for a shout-out to Elliot. And I think Elliot, who I've met before at the Rock Lobsters Select a Seat event, a very young man with so much personality brimming through him. I believe he'll be announcing the Let's Play Hockey in Aikens Ford Arena sometime soon. Shinkarik, Cole Latarsi. Pirouette Shinkarik. Slight whiff, but then centers it quickly for Glukarioff. Save there from Roy. A couple of quick stoppages have slowed things down here a little bit. Things might pick up. Croucher, rare mistake from the Rock Lobsters. Galvin has it. Dropped to him. Thornton pops back up on Lavalier, then bats it away. Rock Lobsters trying to protect the goose egg on the scoreboard. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Glukarioff showing that there as Danny Dangles finds Mott. Garcia somehow finds a way through the Homer Glen, Illinois native, but he's got time and space. Here he is again. Roy having to play it hand up, looking for the icing, but Mott was hot on his tail. Mott with a backhand swat, not knowing that Van Durken was behind him. Great opportunity there for Chris Mott. Here he is again. Looking for his first goal of the year. He senses that there might be blood in the water. Mott. Van Durken, glove saved by Roy. We're going to commercial for the last time tonight. Stay tuned with us here. There's still about 5 minutes more of hockey. There might be more goals. Who knows?
As a hockey player, my health is everything to me. When I got injured,
I didn't just worry about missing games. I worried about my future in the sport I love. From the moment I met you and your team at Piedmont Athens Regional, you gave me confidence. Your expertise, your care, your support, it all reassured me from the very start. Because of you, I've been able to recover, rebuild, and get back to playing the sport I love. Can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dream alive. Thanks to Dr. Graff and Piedmont Athens Regional, I get to keep playing the game I love.
Carter Shinkarik has had an eventful return to his old stomping ground here in Columbus. Dropped the gloves in the first period and really just swept Joel Teximo off the ice with his fight. I don't think anyone knows where the puck is. I think it got lost in someone's gear. Seven goals now, 6 different goal scorers for the Rock Lobsters. Van Durken, the only one with 2. Mack sends it back where it came from. Virgili tries to twist and turn, center a pass, taken away from the Swede. Johansson part of this team effort on the defensive side of things tonight. Paralat, side to side for Johansson. Mack feeds the Red Deer Rocket. Now Paralat missing his first goal by a whisker as a Rock Lobster. Paralat rides the wall with a pass for Geely. Behind his back for Mack. Looking for Gallant at the back door. Mack attack couldn't find the Red Deer Rocket. Storjahan centering pass. Lavalier with a save. Can't cover it up. Sent back to him. Double save by the Great Wall of Montreal. Not going to say it. Not going to say it, but 3 minutes and 45 seconds left. Face off in the Rock Lobsters' end. Milan kind of just swats it towards Croucher. Croucher, get on your bike and ride! Shot for Croucher, saved by Roy. Second chance opportunity for Milan, saved by Roy as well. Roy will be the losing goaltender tonight, but still there's been 32 saves for him to make in this contest. He has not been protected at the same level that William Lavalier has in this game. Centering pass. Cut out by Glukaryov. River Dragons trying to give themselves some momentum, some inertia going into tomorrow night's series finale. Reminder that tonight's puck dropped at 7:35. Tomorrow will be 7:05. Milan trying to get around Josh Colton. Meandering around his own zone win. Icing against Columbus. Face-off will get taken back all the way down. Mott, Van Durken, and Lowell. Mott looking for his first goal on the year. Van Durken looking for his hat trick. Lowell looking for his first multi-goal game of the season. Garcia with a banker. Van Durken around. Colton gets the shot off! What a highlight reel goal for the hat trick! Moscow Mule makes it 8. That is simply sensational. Well, the River Dragon fans won't give Van Durken his hats. Instead, they'll rain down a "you still you know what" chant on Van Durken. That's easier said than done when someone scores 3 on you. Garcia with a lone assist on Van Durken's hat trick clincher. Task still at hand here. It's keeping a 0 on the scoreboard. Rat wall-to-wall pass. Dumas playing as a defenseman for the first time in his career ever since the injury to Michael Greco. Mott to Mack to Gallant. Tic-tac-toe stuff, shot blocked out. Garcia in a foot race with Storjahan, save Lavalier, who still stands strong. Good cutout there by Sabat at center ice. Lavalier gloves it as we are now officially in the final minute of play in Columbus. River Dragon fans still staying optimistic here for those that have stayed. Joe Mack with another face-off win. It's felt like he's dominated the dot tonight. Johansson up ahead. One-touch pass from Gallant. Virgili trying to dig it deep into the River Dragon zone. Lavalier, still work to do with seconds left on the clock. Centering pass, River Dragons have their goal with 5 seconds left. Seconds away from keeping a shutout. The Rock Lobsters won't get it done tonight. Columbus won't spend too long patting themselves on the back on the goal to make it 8-1. It was all-encompassing. It was back-to-front stuff. And somehow it ends in somewhat of a somber tone because the Rock Lobsters seconds away from keeping the shutout. Scoreline ends 8-1. You could not ask for a better performance in all 3 areas of the ice for the Rock Lobsters. The biggest margin of victory, the most goals scored against Columbus in this rivalry of Peach State foes in the FPHL. 7-game winning streak snapped for Columbus. And it's done so with aplomb by the Rock Lobsters. A nice little gesture there from Kevin Sabat. He's going around the rink and clapping the fans, much in the fashion that you see done in European soccer, and the Hungarian obviously will be familiar. Trio of River Dragons joining for post-game prayer as Columbus will try and bounce back and get themselves back on a streak, a 7-game win streak as the hottest team in the FPHL not only ends, but ends with an 8-1 loss against their Continental Division Georgia rivals. We'll see if they announce the 3 stars of the night here. Kind of feels like the show's over for the most part. If they don't say them in-house, we've got them here on the federalhockey.com website. Looks like we're not going to announce them, so I will do the gesture of doing that. Feels like the Rock Lobsters are always due for an exciting game here at the Columbus Civic Center, and it was a one-way excitement, really, between these two teams as the Rock Lobsters defeat their in-state rivals 8-1, and really the first period seemed so competitive. It looked like the kind of game that we were expecting coming into this one between the top 2 teams in the Continental Division coming into this one. Rock Lobsters will now create a bit of a gap, 37 points for them. The River Dragons will stay at 31, and they can now no longer go above the Rock Lobsters in the Continental Division standings as it stands on this weekend. Of course, plenty of more games against Columbus down the line as it stands. But first game between these two teams on this season, and it was all Rock Lobsters. Back to front, 8-1 win. Garrett Rutledge is going to be happy about this one, but they'll go back to the hotel knowing that the work is not finished here on this weekend. Game 2 between these two teams will drop the puck at 7:05 tomorrow night, Saturday night, under the lights here at Columbus Civic Center. Your 3 stars of the night brought to you by 23 Design. 3rd star of the night, so close to his first shutout of the year, and the first shutout against Columbus for any team since March 29th. Guess what? That was actually a team that no longer exists, the HC Venom, that had the last shutout against the River Dragons. Doesn't happen tonight for Lavalier, but still 34 saves. Lets one trickle between the 5-hole laid on, but still a tremendous performance from the Great Wall of Montreal. Luke Croucher now stands as the leading goal scorer for this Rock Lobster team. He's the first to double digits. Goal number 10, 2 assists to add on to his night and his line. 3-point night for the 2nd star for Showtime, Luke Croucher. But stealing the headlines will be the Moscow Mule, Gleb Banderkin, who had not scored a goal since November 1st, more than a month since his last tally. He explodes for goals tonight, finishes off his hat trick in the 3rd period with perhaps his best goal of the night. Gleb Banderkin, your first star, and what a first-star performance from the Rock Lobsters. They did it in all 3 areas of the ice, and they'll try to do it all again less than 24 hours from now. We'll see you here. If we don't see you in Columbus, we'll see you at YouTube or Sporfy, where you can catch all Rock Lobster games. As for everyone here in the production booth at the Columbus Civic Center, this is Mad Teen Rad saying so long from Columbus.